So, to start off this episode, this one's going to be over California Paranormal Triangle. I'll just do paranormal because it won't let me do the whole name. This one's California Paranormal. We're going to be talking about 3 separate ghost stories. But before that, I'm going to test my theory here. For the past 2 nights, I have been reading a hymn from the Aztec god Tlaloc, Tlaloc, not O. And the past 2 days, there have been severe thunderstorms where the power goes out. Like, that's how severe they've been getting. Now, granted, I live in Texas, so the part of Texas where we live in, we get pretty severe thunderstorms regularly.
Well, Mississippi's been having tornadoes.
Well, it swapped. Normally we have tornadoes here. So I'm going to be reading the same hymn again, and we will see if it rains. Now, like I was saying before I got distracted by my own thoughts there, we have been under a thunderstorm warning for like the past 2 months, and it hasn't thunderstormed. Like every day we'd get the warning, like, oh, it's supposed to be a severe thunderstorm, blah, 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 severe thunderstorm again, severe thunderstorm. But it never happened. And I start reading the hymn, and it starts happening. So I want to see if the hymn has something to do with it. So I'm going to read Tlaloc's hymn one more time. And then I'll switch over to different Aztec hymns that I have in here. I have it bookmarked already on where the hymns start. Did I finish my drink?
Yeah.
I'm taking some of your water. So, the hymn of Tlaloc. In Mexico, the god appears. Thy banner is unfolded in all directions, and no one weeps. I, the god, have returned again. I have turned again to the place of abundance of blood sacrifices. There, when the day grows old, I am beheld as a god. Thy work is that of a noble magician. Truly thou hast made thyself too. Be of our flesh. Thou hast made thyself, and who dare affront thee. Truly he who affronts me does not find himself well with me. My fathers took by the head of the tigers and the serpents. And Tlalocan, in the verdant house, thy play at ball, thy cast the reeds. Go forth to where the clouds are spread abundantly, where the thick mist makes the cloudy house of Tlaloc. There with strong voice I rise up and cry aloud. Go ye forth to seek me, seek of the words which I have said, as I rise a terrible one, and cry aloud. After 4 years they shall go forth, not to be known, not to be numbered. They shall descend to the beautiful house to unite together and know the doctrine. Go forth to where the clouds are spread abundantly, where the thick mist makes the cloudy house of Tlaloc. Hymn of Tlaloc.
I was not listening.
I know you weren't listening. You got your headphones on.
Yeah, but I can hear you.
I know, but you also focus on your drawings.
I wasn't even drawing. I was playing.
Yes. So, and I'm also going to be reading stories from here too. Whenever I do more, get back into the Aztec culture and more of that again. But for now, we're just doing, ghost stories from the 50 states, and then I will get back into what I normally do, which is Aztec mythology and Hispanic culture. But we're going to take a little break from that and go do other things. I do have a Pancho Villa and Luchadors episode planned. I got the script all written out, ready to go. But for now, this is how we're going to work. I have messages on Discord. Nothing good. Or nothing for me, just other channels that I have. So anyways, I have my script ready to go right here. Oh, I had a burp. I like that. Look at that. That's perfect. I always forget that if I put my bar up here, it gives me the option to split it up differently.
Oh. I
forget that. Let's get started into the episode. Let me adjust my mic here. Are you mocking me?
No, be focused on that.
I am focused. You're right here.
You know what? Let me do what you did in mine.
What? You do not need help.
Neither do you.
We all know the dream California sells, don't we? It's a promise of endless summers of sunshine and fortune painted on billboards and sold in Hollywood scripts. It's a land of shimmering opportunity, a place where millions have come to chase a future. But if you know where to look, just beneath that sunny surface, you'll find a map of nightmares. A cursed road where headlights stalk you from the darkness, a derelict hospital where the screams of the past still echo, and phantom figures that wander the mountains guarding some terrible secret. These aren't just a few ghost stories. They're points in a paranormal triangle, and the terrifying link between them is something the history books were too afraid to write. Today, we journey into California's darker side. We'll trace the lines connecting this unholy trinity of haunted places, a road of sorrows, ruins of madness, and shadows of judgment. We're going to explore the chilling history that binds them together and asks a terrifying question: what happens when the dead don't stay gone? What happens when they become part of the landscape itself? This is California's paranormal triangle. Our journey starts not on some grand highway, but on a stretch of asphalt and dirt that cuts through the hills of San Diego County. It's a place where the pristine suburbs of Chula Vista give way to the rugged, lonely terrain of Jamul, Hamal, how do you pronounce that? Jamul? I don't know.
I assume.
Yeah. This is Proctor Valley Road, a name that for generations has been whispered with a mix of fear and morbid curiosity. To drive it at night is to feel a primal kind of isolation. The streetlights just vanish, plunging you into a blackness broken only by your headlights. The road twists and turns, a narrow ribbon of dirt that seems to swallow the light. It's out here in this quiet, oppressive quiet that the story begins, and on Proctor Valley Road, there are so many stories. The legends aren't new, they're a complex tapestry woven from decades of fear, tragedy, and folklore. Some say the darkness here is ancient, but finding solid historical proof for hauntings is next to impossible. What we do have is a powerful folklore. Tales passed down through generations speak of a wilder time with local ranchers telling stories of finding their cattle bizarrely mutilated. While these tales of strange ritualistic patterns are a cornerstone of the lore, they exist as local legend, not as documented historical fact. They established a foundation of dread that would only grow. Because in Proctor Valley, the lore has a way of becoming frighteningly tangible. Maybe the most infamous resident of this road isn't a ghost, but a monster, the Proctor Valley Monster. Descriptions are maddeningly all over the place, a testament to pure eyewitness terror. Some accounts from the 60s and 70s describe a classic Bigfoot type, a 7 foot tall hairy humanoid striding through the chaparral. It's a cryptid that fits a familiar, deeply American mold. But other stories they paint a far more grotesque picture. There's the bizarre legend of the monster appearing as a disarranged cow, an entity whose body parts seem to be all in the wrong places, a walking violation of natural law. This nightmarish version is often tied to a story about a radio DJ who in the 1970s supposedly organized a monster hunt that drew hordes of teenagers into the valley, some of whom claimed to see this very creature. As absurd as a misshapen cow beast might sound in the daylight, the legend has a surprising artifact tied to it. According to the local stories, the Bonita Museum in Cultural Center, not far from the valley, holds or has held a plaster cast of a strange, oversized footprint found in the area. Now, its origins are debated, and it's not something you'll find in official museum catalogs. Is it proof? No, but the very idea of a physical object linked to the monster gives the legend a weight that's hard to just brush off. The monster, though, is only one piece of Proctor Valley's dark tapestry. The road is also home to more traditional, but no less terrifying paranormal phenomena. One of the most persistent legends is that of the demon car. Many stories tell of the same harrowing experience. You're driving the dark road when headlights suddenly appear in your rearview mirror, coming up way too fast, but as they get closer, you realize there's no car attached, just blinding lights and a solid black mass. It will tailgate you, chase you, and then just as you reach the paved road where civilization begins, it vanishes. Then there are the apparitions. The most famous is the Lady in Blue, or sometimes the White Lady. Her story changes with each telling. Sometimes she's a teen who died in a car crash on prom night. In other versions, she's the victim of a brutal assault, her spirit now seeking vengeance. She's seen as a hitchhiker on the side of the road. Some say if you stop, you'll crash. Others say if you don't, she'll appear in your back seat before disappearing. The experiences aren't just visual. People report hearing disembodied screams through the hills. They return to their cars to find small childlike handprints on the windows, even when they've been driving alone. Phone and car batteries drained for no reason. These are classic hallmarks of a haunted place. But on Proctor Valley Road, the stories are so frequent, it's as if the valley itself is a psychic sinkhole, a place where the veil between worlds is dangerously thin. This violent energy, this sense of dread, isn't without a potential source. The road's isolation has also allegedly made it a place for real world horrors. The reputation that it's a dumping ground for victims of violent crimes persists, even if it's not strongly supported by official records. This reputation feeds the legend, and the legends amplify the fear. One of the most chilling tales, which must be noted, is a pure urban legend with no bias. In newspaper archives or court records is the story of the Proctor Valley bakery owner. He was supposedly a respected man who one day was found kneeling over the bodies of his murdered family. His baker's white stained with their blood, he claimed to have no memory of the event, whether it has any grain of truth or is a complete fabrication. The story's power lies in what it suggests that Proctor Valley doesn't just have ghosts, it creates them. From a monster that defies biology to a phantom car that defies physics, Proctor Valley Road is a living collection of American folklore. The spirits here are restless, their story is unfinished. They are the first point in our paranormal triangle, a chorus of tragedy echoing from a lonely dirt road. That's terrifying how there's just a road with just all sorts of scary shit. Would you want to travel through there? You don't want to travel through any of the haunted places, do you? When I retire and we buy that RV, this is going to be our roadmap. My 50 episode podcast.
No.
Yes, this is going to be our roadmap. The state episode podcast that I've been doing. I'm gonna mark them down, and that's gonna be our stops as we travel the country. We'll only be able to do 48 states because two of them are connected. Hawaii and Alaska.
I'm not doing those.
Yeah, because we'd have to either travel through Alaska or fly.
You mean travel through Canada to get to Alaska?
That's what I said.
No.
I know that's not what I said, but that's what this said. This up here said that. The ghostly travelers of Proctor Valley Road aren't the only lost. The hell? The ghostly travelers of Proctor Valley Road aren't the only lost souls in this dark geography. To find the next point, we head north into the sprawling heart of Los Angeles County. Here in the city of Downey lie the decaying remains of a place that housed a century of human suffering. It's known in the paranormal world as the Hollydale or Downey Insane Asylum, but its real history is more complex and far more heartbreaking. Its official name was Rancho Los Amigos, which means a ranch of the friends. While Insane Asylum, I got a message. While Insane Asylum is a sensationalized label, the truth is no less haunting. The story of Rancho Los Amigos begins in 1888. It wasn't built as an asylum, but as the Los Angeles County Poor Farm. It was a sprawling agricultural facility starting on around 124 acres, meant to house and provide work for the county's indigent, the poor, the elderly, and chronically ill, and the disabled. The farm grew, eventually swelling to hundreds of acres, and officially became Rancho Los Amigos, the Ranch of Friends. In the 1930s, by the mid-1930s, its population swelled into the thousands. The complex became a city unto itself with its own power plant, laundry, and farms. It treated victims of the Spanish flu and polio and housed those displaced by the Great Depression. But with its growth came immense strain. The institution was perpetually overcrowded and underfunded. It housed not only the poor and the elderly, but also those with mental illness, often with little distinction in care. For many who entered its gates, Rancho Los Amigos was the last home they would ever know. And for those who died here without family or funds, their journey ended in an unmarked grave. It's estimated that perhaps 2,000 or more unclaimed bodies were buried in a potter's field, somewhere on the sprawling grounds, their final resting place lost to time. The beginning of the end for the historic South Campus came in the mid-1950s. A new modern hospital was built on the North Campus, and the old poor farm buildings began to be vacated. This wasn't a sudden shuttering, as urban legends might have you believe. It was a slow decline that stretched over decades. By the 1980s and 90s, the once bustling South Campus was a 74-acre ghost town. It was in this state of abandonment that the legends truly took hold. Urban explorers brought back chilling stories of entire wards left intact with beds still made. They claimed to find patient records scattered on the floors. These tales fueled by the narrative that something terrible had happened, forcing a sudden retreat. The paranormal claims followed. Visitors reported disembodied voices and screams in empty hallways, the feeling of being watched, and glimpses of apparitions. People spoke of seeing spectral patients wandering the wards and a profound sadness that clung to the very air. Given the sheer volume of life and death that pass through these walls, it seems inevitable that some of it would leave a permanent stain. Then in 2006, something happened that was stranger than any ghost story. A group of U.S. Marines using the abandoned campus for training made a gruesome discovery. Inside a freezer in the old morgue, they found preserved human body parts, including severed legs. While officials later suggested these were likely old anatomical specimens from medical training, the incident cemented Rancho Los Amigos' reputation as a place where the forgotten horrors of the past could literally resurface. For years, the South Campus was a mecca for paranormal investigators, but the story of the physical ruins is now coming up to a close. After decades of neglect and fires, the county began demolishing the historic campus. In 2021, by early 2024, the demolition was well underway, erasing most of the old buildings from the landscape. Only a handful of structures were spared. But does demolishing the buildings erase the spirits tied to them, or does it just release them? The land itself is saturated with memories. The screams of the asylum may have faded, but the echoes remain. The lost souls of the county poor farm are the second point of our triangle, a deep well of collective sorrow seeping into the California soil. The ruins are gone, but the shadows they cast are long. I've always wanted to go visit an old derelict asylum.
Yeah.
What about you? You're just opposed to all of this, to visiting the places. Like I said, this is going to be our roadmap for when we travel across the states. You look like you're not happy with that idea. We could be like the modern age supernatural, but instead of hunting them, I just go and study them and piss them off, and then we drive away. And whatever follows, follows. How does that sound? Sounds like you hate that idea so much. Well, then.
Well, then.
I should probably check my other chat too, because I am on multiple places. Nope. Okay, cool. We've walked the cursed roads and explored the ruins of the asylum, but the final piece of this puzzle isn't a place built by human hands, but the ancient brooding landscape that watches over it all. Our journey now takes us to the Santa Lucia Mountains, a rugged coastal range stretching from Big Sur to San Luis Obispo. It is here we find the most enigmatic figures in California folklore, the Dark Watchers. Unlike the ghosts of Proctor Valley or Rancho Los Amigos, the Dark Watchers have no names, no stories of lives cut short. They are something older. For as long as people have traveled through these mountains, the stories have been the same. Travelers, often at dusk or dawn, will glimpse a figure on a distant ridge. It appears as a tall, human like silhouette, sometimes featureless, sometimes described as wearing a wide brimmed hat or a long, dark cloak. Often carrying a walking stick, they just stand there, motionless, silently observing. The feeling they evoke is one of profound and unnerving scrutiny. You are being watched, but there's no malice, no threat, just a silent, unwavering gaze. The moment you try to get a closer look or call out, they vanish. They don't run, they simply cease to be, dissolving into the fog as if they were never there. The legend is deeply woven into the culture of this region. The great author John Steinbeck included them in his short story Flight. He wrote, "Once on a white barren spur he saw a black figure for a moment, but he looked quickly away, for it was one of the Dark Watchers. No one knew who the Watchers were, nor where they lived, but it was better to ignore them and never to show interest in them." This captures the folklore perfectly. They are a presence to be respected and left alone. The poet Robinson Jeffers also wrote of them, cementing their place in California's literary consciousness. So where do these stories come from? Their origins are shrouded in mist. Some modern accounts try to link them to the native Chumash and Salinan people, but the connection is speculative at best. Similarly, claims that early Spanish settlers called them Los Vigilantes Oscuros paranormal circles are common in paranormal circles. I read that so weird. But aren't supported by colonial records. Jesus, I can't read today. The legend seems to have emerged more organically from the landscape itself, solidifying in the 20th century. Of course, science offers a compelling explanation. The phenomenon known as the broken specter is an optical illusion that can occur in misty mountains. When the sun is low behind you, it can cast your own shadow onto a cloud bank, making it appear gigantic and even seem to move. To someone unfamiliar with it, seeing your own massive, shadowy doppelganger staring back would be a deeply unsettling experience. And yet, it doesn't quite cover everything. The broken specter explains seeing your own shadow, but many witnesses report seeing figures from an angle where that's impossible. Other report seeing multiple figures at once, and some describe the watchers as solid and black, not like a shadow in a fog. Pareidolia, our brain's tendency to see patterns like human figures in rocks and trees, is another likely contributor. But for those who have felt the watcher's gaze, these scientific explanations fall short. They can't account for the powerful shared feeling of being observed by an intelligent presence. They can't explain the consistency of the descriptions, the tall stature, the hat, the cloak that persists across decades. These figures are the third point of our triangle. They aren't victims or perpetrators. They are something else. They are the observers, silent, patient, eternal. They watch the sun rise and set. They watch the fog roll in. They watch the cars on Highway 1. And if our theory holds, they watch the restless spirits of California's lost and forgotten. They are the judges, the audience, and perhaps the guardians of California's dark geography. We've journeyed to 3 points of our triangle: a road haunted by violent deaths, an asylum saturated with misery, and a mountain stalked by silent observers. On the surface, they're just three separate California legends, but we promised a terrifying link. What if the connection isn't a person or a single historical event? What if the connection is an ecosystem, a paranormal food chain? Think about the energy on Proctor Valley Road. You have spirits created by sudden, violent trauma. The energy is chaotic, frantic, and constant source of fresh psychic distress. Then we move to Rancho Los Amigos. Here, the energy is different. It's not a sharp spike of violence, but the slow, crushing weight of prolonged suffering, a deep, stagnant reservoir of despair accumulated over 100 years. If Proctor Valley is a roaring fire, Rancho Los Amigos is a field of smoldering embers. And then there are the Dark Watchers. What if they aren't just illusions, but entities that are attracted to, or perhaps even feed on the powerful emotional energy radiating from places of intense human suffering? This is the terrifying link. The triangle isn't just a shape on a map, it's a symbiotic parasitic relationship. The tragedies on the road and the despair in the asylum act as a beacon, generating a massive amount of spiritual energy. This energy doesn't just disappear, it pulls, it saturates the land, and the Dark Watchers, from their high vantage point, are the silent beneficiaries. They aren't ghosts of people, they are something more ancient, drawn to the psychic carry on, left by human tragedy. They watch because they are waiting. The road creates the spirits, the asylum gathers them, and the watchers, they preside over it all. They are the silent figures at the top of the California paranormal food chain, the shepherds of its sorrow. The terrifying truth is that California's sunshine doesn't erase the darkness. It only makes the shadows deeper. And in those shadows, something is always watching. We began this journey by peeling back the sunny facade of California to reveal the darker map hidden beneath. We traveled a cursed road, walked a ghostly halls of a forgotten institution, and stood in the shadows of the mountains, watched by ancient figures. We saw how tragedy, whether swift or slow, leaves an indelible mark on the very land itself. The paranormal tragedy, or the paranormal triangle of Proctor Valley Road, Rancho Los Amigos, and the Dark Watchers, suggests a chilling possibility that these hauntings are not isolated, they are interconnected, part of a vast, unseen spiritual ecosystem. California's history is full of ghosts, the echoes of those who came seeking a dream and found a nightmare. Perhaps these are just stories, folklore, and optical illusions, but perhaps they are a warning, a reminder that some places hold on to their pain, and that when you travel through the lonely corners of the state, you are never truly alone. The land remembers, and some things once seen can never be forgotten. What other hidden connections do you think exist in California's haunted history? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into California's darker side, be sure to like and subscribe for more paranormal explorations. Stay curious, stay cautious, and never ignore the feeling that you're being watched. And that is it for the episode today, guys. As always, stay spooky. I'm going to end my stream here, get everything ready for the next stream, which is going to be next week. Like always, we're getting back into the weekly thing. And that is it. And whenever the move starts, all the episodes will post for a few weeks after that. So streams will stop on everything: Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and on Irium if you're from Irium. So we'll be disappearing again for about 2 weeks. But I will return and we'll get back to it again. So anything you'd like to say? Okay. Her last words are no.
That's last year, but hear from me.
Okay. Well, let's get the stream done. Are you going to stream tonight?
She kept yelling at me, I guess.
I wasn't yelling at you about it. I was just recommending that you stream.
Okay, attitude. I don't know why you being so.
Those are her last words for the day.